Definitely, for sure. That all plays a part in a role. I think that marriage definitely one of my personal goals for sure. I want to get married. That's what I've always seen. What I'm saying, as my example from my parents. You and mom. I always admired what y'all had and made that a goal for me. To find something like that. And I may have started chasing it a little too early though, because I was looking for that in high school or stuff.
Well, it's a different generation now.
Yeah.
Women like your mom, they're still out there, but they're not as easy to find, and they're not in numbers. They're very few out there. That's what makes it so special is when you find that one. When you hold on to it. You hold on to it because you know that you might not ever get that opportunity again.
Right.
And if you do, it might be a long time before you meet somebody else, that you consider worthy of marrying. When I met my wife, I've said this, you've heard this many times before. The first thing I said, once we started, dating, I got to know her, I'm going to have to take her off the market, because once men figure out who she is and what she's about, she's going to be scooped up. I need to get her off the market before other men find out. Right now they're leaving her alone because, she's young, and a lot of men are a little timid because she was very beautiful. And then she have her parents who chase, other men off. But one day somebody going to get past that Rockweiler and really get to know her, and they're gonna want her too.
All right.
So I didn't have time to play around. I immediately decided I'm gonna take her off the market because she was the right kind of woman. I mean, look right, built right, thought right. I mean, she was the image of her mother in a younger version, and her mother was a lawyer woman and faithful and house cleaner and church goer and obeyed her husband. Support. Oh man, I mean, you can't find a better woman. So once I saw all these qualities, I'm gonna get this woman, and I'm not gonna give up.
Right.
And I ain't gave up yet.
Yeah, I definitely think that's how it should be. Once you come to that realization, that acknowledgement, that's when that's the one you gonna take off the market, like you said. Let's talk about cheating and deal breakers. Do you think that cheating is a deal breaker, or do you think that it depends on something?
Well, in most marriages, it's a deal breaker.
Right.
I mean, there are some marriages where both of them been cheating, so they decide to start over, so to speak. They have, that kind of deal. But in most marriages, because of the emotional damage and the trust factor, it's a deal breaker. Now there are women, a whole lot of women that accept it because they want to keep what comes with it. They gonna listen to their husband lie, say I'm not gonna cheat no more. But he's my baby daddy. He's the provider of the house, and I'm happy with him, so I don't have to, go back out in the dating pool. So they suck it up and they stay with them, But emotionally, in their heart, they're gone. Yeah. They're gone. I mean, I know I've counseled a lot of them, I've dealt with a lot of them. They're gone, they just stay together for different reasons, even financial reasons. But in their heart, you have really. I like for men to really understand, not just men, women too. Women too, the damage that cheating does. When a person really loves you, and they find out they can't trust you, that you have abandoned their trust. It's like a knife stabbing you in the back. It's very painful ordeal, and so most people can't get past it. and they can't trust again, you know. So I can forgive, you know what I'm saying? I can forgive. I want them to go on and have successful life, you know, and hopefully they don't do this again in another relationship. But I'm not sure I can ever trust you again, or I'm willing to take that chance to trust you again, you know. I hope it never happens, but in my mindset, I think if it happens, it would be best if we went our separate ways, you know, like that, you know, because it's something as hard as you may try, you know, parts of it will never go away, and you'll always have thoughts in your mind. Is it still going on? Is she thinking about me? Is she comparing me to somebody else? You know, those thoughts will never go away, you know, so it takes away from the purity of marriage, you know. So.
Definitely, I believe so too. It's a hard thing to come back from, you know, like you said, that distrust, you know, that unloyalty. It's like stabbing somebody in the back, like you said. It's really painful, you know. One of the most painful feelings ever, you know.
You take a person trying to lose weight. Do you know why he or she trying to lose weight so difficult? It's because they want to leave certain foods alone, but they know how they taste.
Right.
You know, they've tasted that cheeseburger and French fries, the candy bar, that ice cream, and so that's what drives them back to it, is because they keep remembering how it tastes and how it satisfies them, and it would feel great if on my cheat day I'm gonna have this and that, which is gonna bring back memories and make it even more difficult to leave alone, you know. And so that's the relationship. Even though in your heart you wanna, you know, leave this person, you're sorry you ever messed with this person, I'm sorry I cheated, but in your mind you remember how he made you feel, and the experiences y'all had together, and they just don't go away. They complicate the purity of marriage.
So it's almost like having withdrawals in a way, you know?
You can
like
say
you want to
that.
leave them, but you have these withdrawals of these feelings they made you feel. It's like, dang, it's kind of like complicated, but you don't want to go back, you know, because it is heartbreaking. It's, like I said, it's hard to come back from that, you know, but I've seen different situations, you know. I've seen some people come back from it. I've seen people not come back from it, you know. I've seen it both sides, but me personally, I don't agree, you know, with cheating. I love loyalty. That's one of the principles I stand on, you know, a lot. I want to ask you, do you think that loyalty is harder to find nowadays?
Pretty near impossible. You know, that's why, you know, it's one of those characteristics. When you do find it, you need to keep it. You know, you need to try your best not to mess it up, you know, because it's rare that you'll find it twice, and even more rare to find it 3 times, you know. So when you do find it, male or female, friendship or marriage, you know, either one, you know, you hang on to it, man. You don't mess that up. And I've seen some people with good friends, you know, mess it up behind a woman, you know, or behind another man. I don't care how fine, how cute, and how sweet. It don't compare to loyalty. You know, when you got somebody you know, they gonna be there. They got my back. I can trust them. You know, that's priceless. That's really priceless. But when you got people you wondering, you thinking, you hoping, they in a whole nother category. That's not loyalty there.
Whole other category, man. It's shaky, you know. You gotta have those kind of thoughts. You know, is this person really, you know, on my side? Are they really having good intentions? You know, things of that nature. When you have those kind of thoughts, you know, it's shaky. Like I said, you know, you can't really trust that.
A lot of homeboys find out who their real friends are in court.
Yeah.
You know, they get in trouble, and that's my ride or die. We cool and all that. But when a deal is made to him, if he tell on his partner, and he found out his partner made that deal, you know, it's heartbreaking. You know, I could have made the same deal with you, you know, but I chose not to be a snitch. But you decided if they give me probation, I'm gonna tell them, you know, it's just a difficult thing, you know, to find someone who's just loyal and gonna do whatever it takes, you know, to secure that friendship or relationship.
Definitely, for sure. I definitely agree. That's crazy example too. Like how I see that so much. I see in a video somebody being questioned, and they already know if they ask you questions, you know, they already know what's going on in the situation. So they just want to hear what you got to say. And they asking this teenager, you know, about what's going on with you, Jimmy, and whoever his other friend did and all that. And he disregarding everything until they say, "Oh, you know, you looking at possible life." You know, he was like, "Jimmy did it." You know, it's crazy how fast people switch up. But right before you even did what you did, that's why you gotta know what you're getting yourself into. You know,
that's right.
You gotta think further than what you finna do. What's gonna happen after I do this? You know,
and who's doing it with you?
You know what I'm saying? But am I really doing this somebody that's gonna be solid and not say nothing? And even though we know we're not supposed to say nothing, you just can't really trust too much nowadays. But I see that happen a lot. It's crazy. Loyalty is definitely harder to find, almost impossible. It's getting there for sure. Getting there.
That's one of those, like love. When you find it,
right?
You know, you hold on to those type of people because they rare.
Yeah,
you hold on to it.
Definitely, I agree. Let me see here. I did want to ask you, like a question about like, cause see, this is something that I see like in today's generation, like different problems that come up in a relationship. Like one of them is, like a partner with like the opposite sex pictures or something like that on social media, and sometimes that's something that, you know, the partner dislikes and stuff like that. What do you think about that? Do you think, like, what's your take on that? You know, I'm just curious.
I think
is that disrespectful?
You're right. It's human nature to like certain stuff.
Yeah.
But it's disrespectful to publicly acknowledge that he's cute or fine, she's cute or fine, and I'm in a relationship with somebody else. Mm-hmm. You know, that when a person piques your curiosity to that point where you notice them on that level, then it becomes disrespectful, you know, to your mate. Your eyes need to be on your woman or your man to the point where you notice visually other things, but you don't really acknowledge them because they don't apply.
Right.
If I see another woman and she's cute or fine or whatever, I'm not gonna be like, golly, ooh man, because I've chosen my woman. You know, I've chosen my woman, and so that's somebody else's woman I'm looking at. You know what I'm saying? So I hope, you know, things work out with her or whoever, you know, winds up with her. But I'm not into her like that. I'm not willing to give up my woman for her. So, you know, I'm not into her like that. You know, right. It's like when I go on the car lot, well, really, I'm not going on the car lot because the car I got is paid for. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking how much for this and all this kind of, you know, I got a car and it's paid for, you know, so I'm not looking, you know, on the car lot for another car. I'm happy with my wife. That's just not a slogan. I'm really happy. Yeah. And so if you're happy, then those other thoughts don't even be entertained. Mm-hmm. Wow, she's beautiful, man. Ooh, I'd like to get with her. No, I wouldn't. You know, I'm satisfied with the one I'm getting with. Mm-hmm. That's what your mindset should be, you know, and that's relationships, you know, as well as, you know, other opportunities or avenues, you know what I'm saying, that like I said, car, you know, when you got a car, you know what I'm saying, that you shouldn't even be looking at and won't ask for how much is this and all this kind of stuff. What's the qualification, specification? I don't care, you know, cause I got a car, and if something happened to my car, I'm gonna get it fixed, you know, that kind of thing, you know. But same thing with relationships. Something happened with my relationship, I'm gonna get it fixed. You know what I'm saying? I've chosen who I want to go from here to eternity with. I've already chosen. So I don't have to choose. I've already chosen. And so I don't, acknowledging that light, when you click on that light, you know, it's not just disrespectful to your mate because other people are going to see it, but the person that you clicked on, you know, what are they going to think? They're going to respond or react to it too. You know what I'm saying? So you're saying you want a reaction.
Right.
That's what you're really saying. I want you to say, I want this person to say thanks, or what's your name, or what you doing this weekend. You know, I want that reaction. That's why I clicked on like. You know, because I want them to look at who clicked on like and see what their reaction to it is.
Yeah, the version of myself today definitely will have to agree with that. You know, it's definitely disrespectful to, you know, like the opposite sex post on social media and stuff, especially when you have your partner. But old version of myself, I probably would have disagreed because I didn't been there, done that. You know, I didn't like other opposite sex, you know, posts on Instagram, TikTok, social media, you know. But it's happened to me as well, and what I learned is it's not so good. It don't feel so good when it happened to you, you know. Now doing it is a different story. You know, it's like it don't feel too bad. Like if you got a party, you feel bad, you know. But it's like when it happened to you, it's just a whole different bad feeling.
That's absolutely.
You feel the disrespect that you displaying, and it's like, wow, okay.
And it makes you wonder, you know, what's all going through, what's all attached to that,
right?
How far they willing to go with that?
Exactly. What's their thought process behind this like this double tap? And there's so many thoughts that come behind that question, so it's just best not to double tap.
That's right. You know, when if you do see something that catches your eye, let that stay between you and God.
Right, definitely. Keep that one to yourself. But yeah, that's episode 3, man. We had to, you know, talk about relationships. We definitely gonna have a part 2. I don't know if it's gonna be the next episode or an episode in the future, but you know, relationships is a big topic, and there's so many more questions I'm sure we could discuss that we haven't today. But I think we've discussed enough. I want everybody in the comments to let me know, would you rather date in today's generation or back then? Comment down below, let me know. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, make sure you be on the lookout for more posts. Hit the notification bell, that way you'll be notified every time we do post. You have anything to say before we get out of here?
No, I'm good.
Alrighty, well y'all heard it from us. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We gonna leave